Yo, what's up guys? So we've got some quick topics real quick. I do have to run to work today, so it won't be a super long ranty video. In other news, I did something really awesome for my daughter. So she's had this obsession with this Rayquaza toy, which is behind me back there. It's probably all blurry, but I have a little Rayquaza toy up there. She's always had this obsession with it. A natural, organic obsession, right? Not something artificial, not me telling her, hey, this Pokemon is the best Pokemon. You have to love it. No, I don't care if my kids get into Pokemon. If they get into Pokemon, it'll be a glorious thing, but I want them to discover their own hobbies and things they enjoy in life. And I don't want them to feel like it's pushed on them because their dad is like heavily into it. Anyways, that being said, you know, I've gotten her plushies and things at the store that she's grabbed before, and she's never really taken fully to that. But this Rayquaza toy that I have, she's been taking it off my shelf nonstop. Same thing with Gengar. I think it's kind of funny that both me and my daughter naturally gravitate towards the Rayquaza and the Gengar. And Charizard as well, but she's more into Rayquaza than the Charizard. Anyways, it just came in the mail today. My wife was like, you should really record this as part of your video, but not everything needs to be captured and recorded. Anyways, it was just fun seeing her response, seeing her reaction when I pulled it out of the box. And it was brand new, right? I can't get my daughter a used Rayquaza toy. And she really wanted mine. She was like, no, I'm still going to want Dad's Rayquaza toy. But as soon as I took this thing out of the box, she was perplexed. She was blown away. Anyways, got her a new little Rayquaza toy. That really made her day. Makes my day big time. Anyways, okay, getting into it today. Some updates. Let's talk about Megas and the insane price movement Megas have had. Like coming right out the gate, $200 for the gold cards, for the Japanese version. Obviously, we have not gotten the English version, but I think it's kind of insane. Usually, the Japanese versions are going to sell for way, way less. And right now, I think it's just the hype of the set coming out and people wanting the first copies, or people wanting the first copies that they can grade. I don't know, but there have been some insane sales for the Japanese mega cards hitting the market. And I wonder if that's more manipulation or if it's just fake sales or what. But I think these are confirmed pays. So you guys can definitely let me know what you think on that. Some people really think that this mega set is going to change everything. I'm going to give you my opinion on it. Typically, when we get our first set, the first set kind of sucks, right? So for you newer collectors out there, the first set kind of sucks, right? So what I think is going to happen is we're going to get the set. People are going to be really hyped out on it. They're going to blow all their money on it. And then they're going to get super burned out when the second, third, fourth sets hit the shelves and hit Pokemon Center, right? Because now pretty much you can't get anything out and about. You can't get anything in the wild. If you aren't getting it on Pokemon Center, if you don't get the drop, you're just going to end up paying a secondary market price on eBay. And that's just the environment that we're in right now. Whatever. But what I think is going to happen is this mega sets, it's going to hit the market. It's going to hit Pokemon Center, and we're going to see things dip. We're going to see things dive. That's what happened in Scarlet and Violet. Right now, we regard Scarlet Violet base as a really awesome set. Especially at the peak of the beginning of the hype of like illustration rares, people paying like $20, $30 for like $3 illustration rares that were $2, $3 for like the first couple months that Scarlet Violet rolled out. Then recently, I think January, February, maybe March or April, we saw some insane prices for a lot of raw illustration cards. And that's come back down now in a big way. People are really wisening up and they're realizing what's worth spending the money on. And they're realizing it's not very common illustration cards. But anyways, what's happening, what I think is going to happen is Scarlet and Violet, when that released, I thought that it was going to be huge, right? I wanted to be a big investor. I wanted to be a big buyer, a big collector of the first Scarlet and Violet set. Because I was like, look, I rode the wave in Sword and Shield, but I really need to ride the wave in Scarlet and Violet. I know how these sets perform, and I want to be, you know, really deep into it when it first comes out. So I went heavily in the Scarlet and Violet base, and then the prices tanked. That's just my lesson. That's what happened to me. I was an idiot. I was unprepared for the amount of downfall the price was going to have. Like, I wasn't prepared for the amount of printing that they were going to make of that set. Because pretty much It started out at like $700-800 pre-order, and then boom, it was $500 a case. So not to go off too far on tangents, because I do gotta make this one short, but guys, be careful with this mega set. Be careful in going all in on it, thinking that it's gonna be like the later sets in Scarlet Violet, because that very well might not be the case. It might be really hot initially. Aspen's very upset right now. You might hear her in the background. Not sure what could have happened because she just opened up a brand new toy. Our toddler has been really difficult lately, but that's for another day. What else we got? Yeah, I don't want people to get burned on this mega set because prices are already going crazy. Okay, let's double back to Seismitoad. We've been talking about Seismitoad a lot lately. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Mom just ruined my dress.
She's ruined your dress?
She did. She did ruin my dress.
I know, baby. I'm so sorry, but Daddy's just got to make this video and then he can talk to Mommy. You can talk to Mommy about your dress and what we can do about your dress, okay? Okay, sweetie? It's going to be okay. Okay. Okay, but right now I have to do this. I have to get this done right now.
No.
Yeah. So you have to go. You have to go. Where's your mother? Come on.
She's downstairs.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's time to go.
No.
You have to go. Hey, Mom? Hey, can you come get her? Watch her go down the stairs. I know, but I can't watch her go down the stairs. I'm not gonna edit it. I'm not gonna change anything. I'm a young dad. These things happen. Our daughter just came upstairs because she's upset. Again, I absolutely hate when she comes up the stairs and she's by herself because something could happen to her going back down. So, anyways, the Seismitoad. Okay, let's talk about the Seismitoad. The Seismitoad is absolute manipulation, guys. The card is not getting banned. It's not getting banned in Japan. No one cares about the 666. If you think that that's a reason why the card should be hyped up in price, that's your prerogative. Am I taking shots at the people that bought Seismitoad? Absolutely not. I think Seismitoad is sick. I literally said that in a video that we recently did. I think Seismitoad is a dope artwork. I actually think it's one of the cards that will carry Black Bolt, unfortunately, for the time being. Black Bolt and White Flare, great sets. Tons of illustration rares. Illustration rare galore, right? But that doesn't necessarily make it a great set, right? It might be chock full of illustration rares, but that's not, that for long-time collectors, that is not the thing that necessarily sells us on a set. I think the reason we like Surging Sparks so much is because it had that Pikachu, which crashed. I still think the Latias EX will remain supreme in Surging Sparks. I think that that card is going to come up big time. I also think that Journey Together, people are still not looking at the amazing arts in Journey Together. And I think that that is truly a great set. And I think the Destined Rivals with the Nidoking and the Mewtwo and the Moltres and so many other great artworks, that is truly a great set. Black Bolt, White Flare has a lot of artwork. A lot of people love Gen 5, but not everybody. So is it worth buying into because it is a heavy set on artwork? I don't know. I think that because there's so many arts that you can get, it makes it a really tough set to master. I think availability right now is another big issue. People can't even really find the set. I think value-wise, it'll probably always be a really cool set to invest in. But I think if we're going to talk about sets that we really want to have fun with, that is not it. And if you really like Seismitoad, that's not a set to open to go after just that one card, in my opinion. You should just buy the Seismitoad. And if you are going to buy the Seismitoad, I would look at buying a Seismitoad in like a month or 2 or 3 months maybe, when that card kind of retraces a bit. I have jumped the gun on a lot of cards that I really like this year. Mainly Salamence and Latias EX. Especially, it hurts even more that I graded so many copies and I could not even get a 10 on the copies I graded, but whatever. So I ended up buying one. But yeah, the Seismitoad is definitely manipulated right now. I would not touch that card with a 10-foot pole unless you're getting a really good deal on it. Is this a jab at the card or the artwork itself or even the price? Not really. I think the card should be a high value card. I think the artwork is really good, and I think the artist is really well known and revered. But is $250, $300 valid for that card right now? Absolutely not. I don't even think 200 is valid right now. I think like 130 to 150, and maybe not even that. That might even be too high for the Seismitoad. Hopefully we can see down the road as they print more of this set and we get more restocks and it has time to age. Hopefully people realize that, wow, the Seismitoad was such a big card at the time. You remember that Seismitoad pop? That card just blew up and was like super inflated. Well, now it's a $40, $50 card. This happens all the time in Pokemon. A new set does not make that kind of trend unique, really. But I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there and talk about the Seismitoad because I'd made a video on it. And I think I understand a little bit better now that that card is not going to get banned. If that were going to happen, if anything were going to happen, like pulling production of it, that would have already happened. After the Japanese release or before the Japanese release. Anyways, moving forward, I had a lot of great traction on the 151 video that I just did. I think it's hard for people to accept that 151 really is pretty much the best set of Scarlet and Violet era. But I just want to say one thing real quick before we end this video. And hopefully we do end it early because I'm never able to end a video early. So I think Evolving Skies, right? People hate when you compare Evolving Skies because it's just a monster of a set. It has done better numbers than any other set pretty much ever. Evolving Skies is a beast, right? The reason I personally liked Evolving Skies so much was because of all of the evolutions, but mainly it was because of Rayquaza. Okay, that's why I like the set so much. I'm not gonna like act like I was a massive Evolutions fan, but since that time, I have actually grown way more into liking the Evolutions card. I actually graded 2 Glaceon VMAXs myself and got 10s on both of them. I got a lot of 10s on my Evolving Skies alt arts, but I'm really, really proud of that Glaceon VMAX. Anyways, because of this, because of dealing with these evolutions and seeing them more and appreciating getting those grades back, it made me realize that the reason the set is so good is it's like what people have been saying, the evolutions, period. The evolution lines are amazing. You got the V arts that are beautiful. In my opinion, the V's are a lot nicer than the VMAXs, but that's a personal opinion. And then you've got the VMAX arts, right? And the VMAX arts are the ones that everybody wants. They're the crazy artworks that everybody wants. I'm still missing Sylveon V. I got a 9 on that one. And I'm missing Glaceon V. I actually never owned Glaceon V, never pulled one, never bought one. So I'm going to need to pick up one of those in a 10. I almost have all the evolutions from Evolving Skies in 10s, though. I'm pretty proud of that. But Evolving Skies has the evolution lines, right? Also Dragonite, super goated. Evolving Skies is just built different. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to compare it a little bit to 151 just to piggyback off of yesterday's video a little bit in some of the comments. And to clarify, 151 reminds me of Evolving Skies because of the evolution lines, right? Not only do you have the big 3, which has been brought up a million times, blah, 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 big 3, so what? But you really haven't had all evolutions in a set since base set, or really the base set reprints, right? Base set 2, Legendary Collection maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Blastoise, Venusaur, Charizard are in Legendary Collection. You've got the reprints in there. But that's pretty much it, right? We could throw gym sets in there. We could throw Team Rocket set in there. But they didn't have all 3, right? If we had a Rockets Venusaur, we could throw the Rocket sets in there as well. Anyways, that being said, it's been a very long time since we had all of those Pokemon in the same set. Adding to that, which is what makes it such an iconic set. To me personally, someone who just opened a bunch of base set recently, it's really, really cool that you have pretty damn good odds of getting Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur out of 151. The pull rates were great. The fun factor is there. You guys know that I love 151. But what I love even more is the fact that it had the deeper evolution lines. The Charmander, the Bulbasaur, the Squirtle. You know, we had Charmeleon, Wartortle, Ivysaur, and literally every single one of those artworks is beautiful and deserves praise and attention and appreciation. On top of that, every single artwork builds a little bit, right? It's like layers, right? You get the Charmander. It's not just their environment and that they're evolving. You get the Charmander and the type of artwork. It's a little bit darker. And then it gets a little bit lighter with Charmeleon. You know, and then it goes into the Charizard flying out in the valley, you know, with the sunset. Absolutely incredible line. Like, if I were a newer collector and I just had to like pick something from Sun and Moon, something from Sword and Shield, and something from Scarlet and Violet, I'm gonna give it to you right here. Sun and Moon, I think we all know the tag teams, but more importantly, what tag teams? For me, it probably would have been Latios GX, Gengar Mimikyu GX, and the Blastoise Piplup GX, and, you know, I'm not even going to say the Charizard and the Venusaur because I don't like those ones as much. The Tyranitar Sableye GX, but like some big GX cards. Sword and Shield, Evolving Skies, all right? Most of those came from Team Up, but Evolving, I would say Team Up probably, yeah, that's number one for Sun and Moon. Then Evolving Skies, you would get the Evolutions. Just collect those Evolutions or the Vs or the VMAXs from Evolving Skies. All top tier art. And then you roll into Scarlet and Violet. So much good artwork in Scarlet and Violet. But if I had to pick one set to pick some out of, it would still be 151 because of the consistency and the artwork, how it all flows together. It's magnificent. It's truly amazing. Every single one of those, the Bulbasaur, the Charmander, and the Squirtle, like the Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, the original starters, they look just as cool as the SIRs. The only difference is that they don't get the SIR finish, right? They don't get the same texture. They don't get the same treatment. But when you look at those, you cannot tell me that you don't see modern classic grails. Like the Squirtle, probably I'm a little bit critical of. I think the Squirtle could have been a little bit better. But the Bulbasaur, for some reason, the Bulbasaur just gives me the chills. Like, that card is just so beautiful. It's so vibrant. And then the Charmander's pretty good, too. I was a little bit shocked that Charmander was kind of one of the first cards in that set that was really starting to get pumped up. But then the Charmeleon, beautiful addition to Charmander. The Ivysaur is really a nice addition to the Bulbasaur, adding that flare of pink in the middle of the card. And then the Wartortle, I think, gets a little bit better than the Squirtle. You start to see his transition into being a darker, rougher, tougher Pokemon. It's just cool. It's badass how it transitions from being on the beach into being a little bit in the darker water. And then you get Blastoise, who's deep in the dark depths of the ocean. He's looking really scary. Now, Blastoise and Venusaur, Charizard off the bat was doing really, really well, but Blastoise and Venusaur kind of were like forgotten, right? And I love Zapdos and Alakazam. They're amazing. The Mew and Mewtwo promos, amazing. But focusing back on these bigger cards in the set, the ones that I think will constantly be picked up and remembered, for whatever reason, the Venusaur and the Blastoise just don't get nearly as much love as the Charizard. And I gotta be honest with you guys, the Venusaur and Blastoise arts are better than the Charizard art. Like, it's just because it's Charizard, I feel like, is why it's being picked up. Or might not be just that. The reality might be that it was tougher to grade the Charizard than it was the Venusaur and the Blastoise. Blastoise in particular, I did have a lot of luck with Blastoise, and I think it's just luck, but maybe it was an easier card to grade because one after another, I was getting Blastoise back-to-back 10s. So when I sent them off to grading, I think I got maybe one Blastoise that got a 9. I don't even know if I got a Blastoise that got a 9. I think they all got 10s, but that artwork is incredible. And the Venusaur as well, and I have a bunch of 9s in Venusaur that really aren't worth anything, but to me, they're beautiful works of art that I'm going to hold on to for a long time. But I just want to say that the fact that it has all of those evolutions tied into it is really amazing, and I think that's what makes the set so comparable to Evolving Skies, where you have all of the evolutions tied into that set is one. You have all of the original starter line evolutions tied into a set. Show me one other set. Show me any other set that has evolution lines like that, besides Black Bolt, which we just got, which has a lot of great evolution lines, but not really a lot of iconic evolution lines, right? What I would love to see, what would have made 151 really incredible, is if they had a Dratini illustration with a dragon. You know, they had the Dragonair illustration. That was amazing. But it would have been even better if they would have had the Dratini, the Dragonair, and the Dragonite all together. It would have been sick. But Dragonite wasn't a part of base set, so understandable. I would like to see kind of maybe in this upcoming Mega sets, this Mega era, maybe if we get like a 151 style for like Jungle, or a 151 style for, I mean, I guess, you know, Destined Rivals was kind of our Team Rocket set, but not really. But I would love to see them play on these vintage sets that none of us can afford anymore. Because for me, it's like I would love to have these sets in my collection, but I can't justify it. So these newer sets, 151 was so easy to justify because it was such an iconic set that paid tribute to the OGs. Anyways, I just wanted to rant about 151 at the end here and give, you know, my reasoning on why I think it's such a good set again, and reinforce that with the fact of, you know, Evolving Skies is a great set, but it had all those evolutions tied in together, and I think that's what 151 does so well that no other set has done before it. Anyways, peace out, guys. Have a great day. Let me know about the Megas and what you think is going to happen there. Let me know about the Seismitoad and what you think is going to happen to Seismitoad. Will it fall like drastically, or will it continue to rise? Because it's just so hyped up. People love it. Everyone's on board with it. I don't know. We had somebody in our Discord that's a big seller. Even they had picked up a Seismitoad. So I think sometimes we get blinded by how hot a card looks. And then, you know, we have to face the reality as it comes back down to earth. Anyways, peace out, guys. Have a great day. See you on the next one.